I feel like I'm losing.
Welcome back to the channel, ARMY. Today we're diving into an unforgettable moment that may have rocked BTS's world more than we ever imagined. What if BTS's most powerful moment of 2025 didn't happen during a major concert, an awards show, or their latest release? What if it happened in silence, with no music, no cameras, just a look, and a tattoo that made Taehyung freeze? And wait, did Jhope just spill something about Taehyung and Jungkook's relationship after their military enlistment? Did anyone actually leave HYBE? Let's unpack all of this, right now. The story begins with a look. Not a concert, not a viral live stream. Just a look. A look that could stop time. The concert had just ended. The stadium lights were starting to dim. The fans were screaming at the top of their lungs, but backstage, it was suddenly eerily quiet. Jungkook sat alone, his face drenched in sweat, his makeup a mess, not at all like the idol we're used to seeing. In that moment, he wasn't Jungkook from BTS, he was just Jungkook, a breathing, thinking, vulnerable human being. And in that moment, Taehyung walked in. There was no stylist, no entourage, just Taehyung himself. They met eyes. And in that moment, something changed. Taehyung's expression didn't look shocked or panicked, but there was something more raw, as if he was seeing Jungkook for the first time, or perhaps, seeing the real Jungkook, hidden beneath the fame and pressure. It wasn't just a casual glance, it was a look that spoke volumes. Then, fans began to notice something. The tattoo. A new mark, placed high on his chest, too close to his heart to be taken lightly. It wasn't just a visible rebellion, it was a statement of vulnerability. It turned out that the tattoo wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. Tattoo artist at Pollock_SJ revealed that Jungkook had been planning it for months, designing it with meaning, pouring his soul into it. It wasn't just ink on his skin, it was a transformation. A declaration. A story he wanted to share with the world. Taehyung was the first to see it. And that's when he paused. His eyebrows raised, his lips parted slightly, almost whispering, "You did this, for real?" Jungkook didn't need to answer. All he did was nod. That glance sparked a flurry of theories online. Was it a tribute to their friendship? A hidden message to each other? Or maybe a call for their personal freedom? But that wasn't the end of the story. A few days later, Taehyung posted a photo. Alone. Wearing a white Celine shirt. In front of a birthday cake. No caption, just emojis. And ARMY, as usual, lost their minds. What did it mean? Was it for Jungkook? Was it a memory? A hidden message? When Celine reposted the photo with the caption, "Our eternal inspiration," the internet went wild. Was Celine simply honoring their partnership, or was there something deeper they were trying to convey? Then, unannounced, Taehyung appeared on Weverse Live. No makeup, no glam, just himself. Wearing a tank top, relaxed, grooving to soft music. The lighting was soft, the sound low and calm, so intimate, it almost felt like we were witnessing a side of Taehyung we'd never seen before. The fans were stunned into silence. There was no big announcement, just presence. It was a more vulnerable, more real side of Taehyung, and it felt like an emotional exhale after everything that had happened behind the scenes. And while we were all still in shock from the live broadcast, Jhope came out and dropped a bombshell. In his interview, he casually but meaningfully mentioned something that had long been a mystery, that something big had changed between Taehyung and Jungkook since their military service. That their relationship had deepened, transformed into something more beautiful. And in that moment, every silent glance, every whispered tattoo, and every wordless post suddenly made sense. Jhope said, "Some things surprised me. Especially Jungkook and Taehyung. The way they are now. It's beautiful. I'm proud of them." He added, "There are a lot of things we can't say. But let's just say, some relationships become stronger in silence." What Jhope said was like a key that unlocked all of ARMY's theories so far. Tattoos, cakes, silence, live broadcasts, and now, Jhope's cryptic message. Is this the beginning of a new chapter? Fans are starting to connect the dots. The tattoo. The cake. The silence. The live stream. And now, Jhope's cryptic message. Are Taehyung and Jungkook planning something together? Or is someone planning to leave HYBE? All of this speculation is starting to build. All we know is this, the backstage moment, the look, the ink, the silence, was more than just a private exchange. It carried weight. It sparked emotion. It felt like the beginning of a deeper chapter, something that hasn't been fully revealed yet. Something real, that can only be felt, not shouted. The moment contained everything we need to know about their relationship, about Taehyung and Jungkook, about BTS, about how they truly cherish each other in silence. So ARMY, stay awake. Don't blink. Don't let it pass you by too soon. Because behind all of these moments, something new is happening, slowly, gently, beautifully. The next chapter of their story has begun. And this time, it's not about what's being said, but about what's being felt. The silence that accompanies these moments speaks louder than any words. The tattoo hidden behind Jungkook's body is not just a work of art, but a symbol of a long journey. A journey full of changes, and perhaps liberation. A small step for Jungkook, but perhaps a big step for BTS. Not only for himself, but for their long-standing friendship and bond. Taehyung, who saw it for the first time, became a witness to that change. A witness to a statement that was so personal, but hidden within it was a much greater meaning. When Taehyung saw the tattoo, he saw more than just art. He saw a story, an evolution that had occurred within Jungkook, one that he might never have expressed verbally. There were many things that did not need to be said, but they were all recorded in the tattoo. A change that had matured, that had been prepared for months, and was now part of Jungkook's new identity. Taehyung felt it, without words, just with a look. A look that seemed to understand everything. This was not just about ink etched on the skin, it was about pent-up emotions that finally found their way to be expressed. And when Taehyung posted that photo, alone, in front of a birthday cake, ARMY began to wonder. There was something deeper to the post, something more than just a photo. Celine, the brand that has long worked with Taehyung, called him their eternal muse. The simple caption seemed to imply more than it seemed. This wasn't just about fashion, but about recognition, an acknowledgement of the deeper connection between Taehyung and Jungkook. Why this photo now? Why the birthday cake? Was this some kind of tribute to their shared moment, or something more? The silence deepened when Taehyung appeared on Weverse Live. No makeup, no glamour, just himself, as we rarely see him. The intimate setting, the dim lights, his quiet voice, almost like a story that could only be told in silence. Fans were transfixed. It wasn't about appearances, it wasn't about the big event. It was about showing who he really was. A more human, more vulnerable Taehyung. In every word, in every movement of his body, there was something we could feel, something that couldn't be explained, only felt. And that's where the turning point begins. Shortly after, Jhope revealed something we probably never expected. In his interview, he casually mentioned that something had changed between Taehyung and Jungkook after they returned from the military. Something that had grown stronger, more beautiful. There are a lot of things we can't say, he said. But let's just say, some relationships grow stronger in silence. With those words, we knew, there was more to this. There was more to it than just the relationship between the members of BTS. It was about an unspoken, yet powerful bond. With all that being said, ARMY began to put the pieces together. The tattoos. The silence. The live broadcasts. Taehyung's mysterious posts. All of these clues were intriguing. Maybe this wasn't just about Taehyung and Jungkook's relationship. Maybe this was also about BTS preparing to move into a new phase. A phase where they were more open, more honest about their personal journeys, and maybe more open about their desire to explore the world outside of the label. This could be a hint that BTS is preparing something bigger, deeper, something we never imagined before. Is there a big change happening at BTS? Are Taehyung and Jungkook preparing for something together, outside of their work with HYBE? Or are they looking forward to a new chapter in their journey? We don't know for sure. But one thing is for sure, the relationship they have now is stronger than ever. This isn't just friendship, this is a bond that transcends all things, and ARMY feels it. Jhope's words remind us of the importance of understanding that sometimes, what we don't say is more powerful than what we do say. Some stories don't need to be told. We just need to feel them. And that's what's happening right now. Behind those looks, behind those tattoos, behind the deep silence, something is developing. Something more than just a personal story. This is a transformative moment involving more than just one BTS member. This is their step into a future full of potential.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. Oh.